Alright, what's up everybody, how's it going? It's back, aka Dansg08 here, and welcome to another live stream. Let me know if you can see and hear me, and we will get cracking with another session as we try to defeat Penance for this type of challenge for the first time. So let me catch you guys up a little bit on what's happened since the last one. So the last session was the first time we did a little bit of a test. Basically, it was one of these things that normally, oftentimes, when I make this type of content, I do obviously a lot of this stuff kind of off screen, and I kind of experiment around and test different things and try different things and see if I can find a way through a difficult boss battle. But this time I thought, since we've been obviously live streaming the entire journey, why not do this type of session live? And obviously you guys will get to see the process. And we have, of course, some very knowledgeable people in the chat as well that can offer some advice and suggestions for how to complete this challenge. And so that's what we did last time. We spent a few hours giving it a go. And to be honest, I think it went pretty well. I came in with pretty low expectations, but there was a glimmer of hope, I think, by the end of the last session. And we managed to defeat the first form of Penance, and we got down to the immolation phase. So that was really positive, and I was glad that we managed to make it through. But it felt to me like whatever we'd kind of set up and done to get through to the immolation phase, it wasn't going to be feasible for the rest of the fight. So we kind of needed two different strategies or setups to get ourselves through this particular challenge. So that's generally where we were at, and I had a couple of ideas for kind of what we could do. And my plan was to try and spend a little bit of time kind of prepping before the stream, so that I already had quite a lot of things set up and maybe even a bit of a strategy more locked down, and you guys get to see it. But I haven't had enough time to do that, to be honest. I had like one or two. Someone said, "Is the audio gone?" Can you guys confirm for me? It looks fine on my end. Okay. Sorry, Tanya, it might be on your end, unfortunately. Double check your own setup. Yeah, okay, cool. Seems like people can still hear. So what was I saying? Yeah, I didn't have enough time to check things as I would have liked, but I started to kind of put into place a couple of ideas. And what we're going to do is we're going to continue testing in this session to see if we can find a way to start to solidify what we've done for the first phase, and see if we can find something to get us through the second. Now, what you'll notice here is a couple of things are different once again. So, I think what we discovered last time is that this particular setup with Auron was working really well. This particular HP threshold, plus Sentinel, plus Auto Potion, plus X Potions, he was basically tanking everything that came towards him. And the only danger that we had was basically if he gets hit with a Calamity, gets armor broken, and then gets taken out. But other than that scenario, Auron was basically able to handle everything that Penance and the Arms had to throw at us. So he was reviving, he was tanking everything, and that was working really well for us in the last sesh. So that side of things was all good. Then phase 2 was obviously, we're defending, but we need to actually do some damage. There's 12 million HP to be taken out, so how do we do that? And obviously, given the limited nature of our sphere grids, there isn't a huge amount we can do, but what we can is, for example, get these guys set up like this. So these guys were doing the lion's share of the damage. They were coming in, and I was trying to basically swap them out before obliteration happens, because the delay that happens as a result of obliteration is quite brutal. And the idea was to try and survive obliteration, have all of my characters intact after it, and then immediately swap these two back in so they can continue to do damage. So that was starting to work pretty well. We'd started to get that sort of synchronized and working for us towards the end of the last session. It was very grueling and very grindy, and it would have taken a huge amount of time to do, but it was working, and we managed to beat the first phase. So things on that front, like that part of the strategy, was going pretty well. And yes, you will notice that Kimahri actually has some stats here, so maybe there is a very small role for Kimahri to play in this setup as well. So I'll mention him in a second. from here on, basically, what I decided to do was I created a lot of defensive characters in the last one. So we had Yuna, who is able to defend against obliteration. We had Lulu that was able to do that. And Riku, I had to sacrifice her agility in the last session, but I managed to get her to 255 defense and be able to also survive against Penance. But I didn't like the fact that her agility wasn't particularly great. It was a tier below, obviously, where I'd like it to be. And so what I was thinking was that ultimately it was probably a little too conservative, because Auron needs to be out there pretty much all the time, I think, in the first form anyway, the way that I have things set up. And we have Lulu and Yuna to already as obliteration, and it's like, does Riku really need to be set up as a tank in this particular scenario? Because we only have 2 attackers as a result. And what we might do for immolation, what might be more useful, is to potentially try and go to 3 attackers, because we don't have a move like obliteration which takes everyone out, and we might just be quick enough to basically try to go for a bit more of an attack spam type situation where we just attack the arms with all 3 characters, and every time someone gets taken out from immolation, then we just have auto Phoenix to recover the character that's taken out. And so I thought, obviously, to do this we're going to need a 3rd attacker, and so ideally I wanted my 3rd attacker to be Lulu. But the reason actually for Lulu to be the 3rd was because she has quick hit. This is the randomizer, so there are definitely some factors here that make this even harder than trying to do this in a regular own sphere grid. So the fact that Lulu has quick hit in this one, I thought it might make a big difference. Obviously, especially in the immolation phase, when you're trying to do as much damage as quickly as possible, having quick hit would be rather useful. But that meant that if Lulu becomes an attacker, someone has to become a defender to take her place. And Riku, I might still end up doing this. This is still obviously just kind of thinking out loud and testing things for now. But I didn't like the fact that Riku just didn't have her maximum agility. And so bringing her in as an extra defensive character when she didn't have maximum agility, I wasn't too big a fan of. So I basically decided to, for now, in like the next phase of testing, keep Yuna and Lulu as my tanks for the first phase to basically deal with obliteration, and then have Riku be my 3rd attacker. So she can have these stats, and this is enough for her to basically do max damage on everyone with the celestial weapon. And then see if basically once we're done with that, with the first phase, we can just swap in Riku and just have an all-out attack type formation. So that's the general idea. That's one of the first things that I thought about. And the second thing I thought about is let me actually get into the fight, because again, this is gonna, I don't want to spend the first half an hour just on the bridge, sorry. And then we'll talk about it some more here. Karifian, actually, do you know if there's a way to get this cutscene to skip? Because the Final Fantasy X cutscene remover doesn't work for this. And it'd be nice, because this time, I think for this session, we're going to be seeing a lot more of this. And there's nothing to really skip it that I've seen. You can speed it up. Okay, I'll have a look at that. So, now, let me talk to you guys about the next aspect that was a little bit risky. So, one thing that was a little bit concerning for me was the usage of resources. So, X potions and, of course, Phoenix Downs, which I should have 99 of. That's my mistake. But this is still testing, so it'll be fine. But I was trying to see if I can set up a way where basically Auron, Lulu, and Yuna all have trio of quad 9 as well. So they're going to be kind of auto-potioning their way through the first phase. Like every time an obliteration hits, that way I'd have way more resources to be able to make the heals that I need to make. And so I've been trying to see if there's a way that I can get this sort of setup going before I get completely mowed down. Because if you keep the arms, both of the arms around for too long, it becomes too much of a problem. So that's where Kimahri potentially comes in. Because I was basically doing a few little test runs and kind of having Riku out here and trying to do the overdrive. Obviously, you want to prep as much as you can before Penance and the arms actually get going. And if there's one good thing about this fight, it's that at the beginning of the fight, it actually gives you quite a lot of time. Like, if you look at the amount of turns we have here, this is like a relatively significant number of turns that we have to work with. And so, obviously, if you want to use multiple overdrives, so for example, you want to do like Ultra Null to get 5 times cheer, and then you want Trio of Quad 9, obviously you can't charge your overdrive in between, so you're going to want Entrust. And in Randomizer, who has Entrust? But of course, it is Kimahri. And so I thought to myself, well, at the end of the day, if we can get him to maximum agility on his tiny sphere grid, we can at least bring him in. He can Entrust so that we can give Riku a second overdrive, and it allows us to buff a little more before things get started. So that's why Kimahri has the agility that he does, and he might potentially prove to be useful in this challenge. So that's the general idea. So I'm trying to find a way to really kind of bolster the first part of the fight. Yeah, trying to bolster the first part of the fight, really kind of lock it down and make that sort of a repeatable kind of strategy. And then once we get to, like, once we kind of lock that down, hopefully, then we can really set to work on the second part and see if there's a way to basically just blast through purely using attacks. So that's the general idea. And that's where we're at for this session. So we might not make a lot of progress. We might not even spend too much time seeing the second form in this one. But I'm hoping that we'll kind of take another step forward and bring ourselves closer to a win. Start with first strike is literally the only opportunity Riku ever gets to get off a mix without dying to obliteration after, before getting another turn, I mean. So yeah, let's bring in Riku. So I made a little kind of card because it's funny, everyone kind of has a little bit of a different setup. Like Auron has a slightly different one to Yuna and Lulu, and so their requirements for being able to survive obliteration is different. And so trying to keep track of who has which buff is a little bit annoying. Another reason I set things up the way I did is because Auron will hopefully Sentinel the whole way, and if he does, then hopefully we shouldn't need to like any buffs that we put on, like Protect and stuff, we should hopefully be able to keep on some of our other tanks. So those are some of the ideas that I have, but let's just get going and see how we do here. Okay. So the main trouble with this one, I think, is a bit harder to set up than the previous one was, because we basically need like 3 things to happen. We need all of the buffs. Basically, for now, I've got this set up here. I decided to give the defense plus 20 for now. So for now, we need to kind of put Protect on them, we need to put 5 times Cheer on them, and we need to give them Trio. So it's kind of a lot of work to do. And so we'll see if we can manage to do that. So yeah, buckle up. This is going to be the session. There's going to be a lot of this happening. A lot of quick restarts. I'm going to try my best to not use far plane to control Penance anymore. We're going to try and just keep the training wheels off for the entire session here and just really see how the battle flows in real time and see what we can do as a result. So, the way you can tell if this is live or pre-recorded is if I'm actually reading your message in the chat. The biggest clue in general, let's say I'm not, is I tend to always be typing in the chat. If it's just a premiere, I tend to be like literally in the chat and typing along and chatting with you guys. But if I'm literally obviously playing and streaming, then I'm not going to be typing things in the chat unless something went wrong. So yeah, this is live. All right, so still, regardless of everything, I feel like a lot of this hinges on Calamity not happening very frequently. So I still need to kind of keep the pressure up and make sure I keep this arm down. But obviously there's too many things to do all at once, so you kind of need some RNG at the start so those arms don't end up basically taking you down before you can even really get started. Yeah, one day I'd kind of love to have some kind of like, I don't know, pre-recorded, like trick you guys into thinking it's live when it's not, but that would take a ton of work. Because like if you had some kind of soundboard or something like that, then I'm still technically kind of live and automating the responses on there, so it's still not truly like pre-recorded. But it would be kind of funny one day, but it would be extremely tough, I think, to fool people for a while. I think I'm going to start to generally use attack reels a little more as well, but maybe if I'm kind of desperate, I really need to take the arm out, then maybe, but we'll see. I don't know why it makes that noise with Waka's weapon. Okay, so I'm gonna bring in Lulu here. Defend. We're gonna play this session sped up though, because it's definitely gonna help. So now we're going to... you see the trouble here though is that they don't have Auto Phoenix. So it's kind of pick your poison here. You have to kind of juggle a lot of buffs and things going on here. So let's see how this setup does. This is the side of things I haven't practiced very much here. Okay. Wait, who got her up? Maybe it's Yuna that has it. Nice. Okay. Oh, well, auto life. Sorry, I forgot about that. So that's that part of it. Trouble is now we need to bring in Auron. Yeah, so this is where things get troublesome because there's just too many buffs and still not really enough time to get them all going, I think. Because at this point, Auron's not ready. He has Protect, he has Defend, he's got all of those things, but he needs 5 times cheer to survive a physical attack from the arm. So basically we didn't set up properly here. So Auron's gonna get, if any of these two do a physical attack, then Auron's dead, basically. So we need some serious RNG to survive this one. There's no quick way to get 5 cheers, unfortunately, and 1 is definitely not enough, so you'll see there. See what I mean? So this attempt is already a fail. You really need to get set up like perfectly, otherwise you've already lost. So this is what's going to happen a lot in this particular testing phase, unfortunately. I always count the weeks to remember if it's a live stream Tuesday. Yeah. I wish I could do it every week sometimes, but I feel like this still works the best for me. Even here, like I've just got so much content going on the channel, and I don't want to kind of sacrifice too much of the content. So I kind of prefer to keep it this way. So yeah, Auron, he basically needs he needs 5 times cheer to be able to survive. So let me try it a little differently. I just didn't want to have Auron be on the front line here, like to start with, because his agility is bad, but so this time we're going to try it a little differently. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I was just thinking about it recently. It's literally been a year since I started live streaming. It's kind of crazy how time flies. I'd wanted to potentially like add it to my kind of suite of things that I have going on the channel for quite some time, but I never quite knew how to organize it and schedule it in a way that my primary focus still always remains on the content, the videos. But I feel like this has worked pretty well for me. And we've got to spend a lot of time together in these live chats. So, I mean, we got the 24/7 stream. We got these going on. We got the weekly premieres on the Friday where I tend to be in the chat most of the time. So I think we've been doing pretty well on that front. Okay, so this time I'm going to try and do it slightly differently. I'm going to try to do this one. Okay. See, now the problem is I need to get Protect on Lulu. But maybe worth attacking a little bit first again. Let's see. No. And this is the kind of fight where you just need to be concentrating all the time. So apologies if I don't check the chat as much as I normally do. It's amazing how the turns shift, and this is what I mean by... Like, if you don't have 170 agility, like, Auron doesn't have haste now, to be fair, but... Like, the way the turns change is wild. Let me see. I think what I need to do is, right now I don't have 2 tanks for obliteration. I feel like I need to do that first, and to do that Lulu needs I think Protect. So we'll keep it like this for now. So again, this is all kind of randomizer stuff coming in. I think what I will do, if kind of I continue to investigate all of this, and I'm just like, this is proving to be a bit too much of a stretch, I might try to turn it to like true OSG. So in that sense, it would be basically everyone has the moves that they're supposed to have. So Tidus would be the one with Quick Hit, which would make my life easier. Yuna would be the one with Dispel, which would make my life easier. And Riku would be the one with Use, for example. So those things would be a factor. Wow, Anna in the chat. Been a long time. Good to see you. True OG with the Machen badge. Thanks for joining in. So I think as of this point, Lulu should be able to survive obliteration without having to defend. And that's an important factor because it allows us to basically, again, kind of just use rank 1s and split turns and steal turns and that kind of thing. So it should help us in that sense. Okay. So I did do a drain just so that I can get over the line if need be. Let's do this. I'm gonna... how should I do it? No, I'm going to leave it like this. So get Waka back out of there. Auron will go into Sentinel. Lulu just waits. And then now I'm going to do Trio. So Riku's obviously going to die here, but I'm going to try to make sure I have at least 2 of my tanks set up here. Now the trouble with doing it this way is that the arms have basically had no attacks on them. And so now I might fall back because the arms are going to be... Well, there's a much bigger chance of Calamity, for example. So this is the dangerous version of events where boss 1 goes first, which is the right arm, and then the left arm comes next. So if this one does Calamity, and the next one kills Auron, then we're in big trouble. And the problem with this whole setup is that once Auron has a Calamity hit him, because we're on Randomizer, we can't get rid of the Dispel, the breaks using Dispel. So normally what you'd do here, for example, you would just keep juggling the turns, and you'd make sure you got a turn in between arm 1 and 2, and then you could just, if Auron did get Calamity on him in between those 2, you just get Yuna to come in and use Dispel. But because we're Randomizer, we just don't have that luxury here. And so that's why it's a big, big problem. And we have to rely on RNG here instead. So let me... Let's see. Let's do an attack reel, see how we do. It's been a little while since I did one. Whenever I get that first one wrong, my chances of screwing it up. I press too early on the first one sometimes. Okay, so that was a good outcome. So that was some good RNG for us there. Wait, why does Waka have a full overdrive? I missed that. Did it really charge up from just those two? Is that right? I don't have like the full overdrive cheat on. It all happened so fast. With triple overdrive, damn, it already charges. That's nice. That is nice. Okay, but that said, I need to, again, like I think I've been trying to at least have 2 characters that can survive obliteration every time. So, yeah, because on ×4 as well, I just wasn't paying attention, but yeah, the overdrive can go up that quickly. So, now, Yuna does not have Protect, and she doesn't have 5 times cheer. So now I need to try to get Yuna basically ready as well, and then Riku can start to take a back seat, and we can really start to try and make an impact on this first form. So I think she's better off just defending for now. Now, which one do I do? I think for now... It's a bit of a weird situation because she's going to heal herself with a potion, but it's obviously not going to be enough. But let's just see what happens here. And unfortunately, again, the turn order is unfavorable for us. Let's do that. Yeah, I've given up the Hyper Mighty G for now. But we'll see how it works in those scenarios. The future attempts. Yeah, Auron does have the Auto Phoenix. Okay. We need to... I think we're probably still better off coming in and attack reeling again. For now. Don't game over while I'm gone now. I'll try my best. Yeah, I think this is probably still our best bet. Alright, let's go. So I think for now I need to head back into sort of survival mode and not try too hard to get Yuna prepped. That was bad. That was a really unlucky set. Nothing happened to this arm. Damn it. Okay, so again, we have to ride our luck here. We don't have a choice if Calamity happens. To Auron. Okay. That's not the worst outcome, but obviously Waka being in that situation is not ideal. So now we have to ride our luck again, and so this is what I mean, like this particular setup, trying to do all of it, I think your RNG requirements go up. I think if you can pull it off, then it sets you up better for the rest of the fight, but if you can't, then you'll be in trouble. So this is pushing it now. But we did well, we're still there. So hopefully once we get Protect on Yuna, this will be the last time we need to kind of sacrifice anyone. Like that. So let's see how this goes. So Waka will die here again. Oh shit, I don't have trio. There's just too many things we have to do, man. Now, can we finish it with a Blitz Ace? I think we might be able to. Let's give it a go. If we can get rid of this arm, we can give ourselves a little bit of time to breathe here and get Yuna fully set up. Alright. good. Big delay there though, but I think getting rid of the arm was worth it. Okay. So now I'm going to get Lulu back in. She can survive. Might be worth trying to get both arms out, honestly. The good thing here is that Drain actually does quad 9 damage now. It's kind of a mini... And because I don't have to defend, this is what I mean. I get the turn here. It's kind of nice. Hey Nick, welcome to the stream. Good to see you. So this is where I could potentially start to claw back a little bit. So now I need a trio on Yuna. Riku has a full overdrive, so that's good. Oh, the regeneration happens so damn fast. I hate how fast the regeneration happens. It always annoys me. It always feels too fast. I just need like one bloody overdrive. Okay. So now I think I'm fully set up. So hopefully the plan from here on out is, if I can take the arm out again, is to basically just have Auron, Lulu and Yuna on the field every time Penance does obliteration. So we'll see how this goes. I wonder if Drain Fury is a good idea. Would Drain Fury hit... What's the rank of Fury, Caribbean? And... but her magic stat's terrible in this setup, so I don't think I could crank many drains out, honestly. Yeah. And well, I assume it would hit randomly across them. I was just wondering if it's like a smart idea to sometimes use Drain on the arms. It's just rank 4. Yeah, but with a magic stat at base, I wonder how many of them I could pull off. It just hits randomly. Okay, we'll potentially try. Not now, obviously, because I can just get my guys to do it instead. And we'll see what happens. Right. But again, Riku's stuck on the front line here. Well, she's not actually. I can do it. Yeah. So get Lulu in. I think it's still testing stage enough that let's just give it a Drain Fury. I don't think this is going to go very well. I'll probably only get a few of them, but... 6. Yeah. Maybe in a pinch. I mean, it's just worth seeing, but we did get the Calamity there. And so now we're totally screwed. I mean, this situation is one we generally can't avoid. I think it will happen sometimes, so... I think the good thing here is that we have Lulu and Yuna that's kind of prepped and ready. But how do we bring Auron back as quickly as possible? Like to being a useful Sentinel again. This is the problem. It's like, how do we deal with Auron after he's been armor broken and stuff? Yeah, I was going to say, I think we're going to have to start tanking some of these with Aeons. Basically, the two options that we had is let Auron die and see if you can kind of build him up again before the arms completely destroy you. Or you could have an Aeon take the hit. But then obviously Auron would need a turn to dispel himself. But he's not fast enough, I think, to both dispel himself and also then Sentinel again. So we kind of lose too much ground. And this is what I mean. If this was a normal OSG, like Own Sphere Grid fight, Yuna would just come in, she would dispel, and everything would be back to normal. But we're just missing that luxury here. And you can see how it makes a meaningful impact on the fight. I have no idea what the stats of my Maga Sisters are, but they're probably not going to do much damage at all. So I still think it's worth it to summon first. Just provoke. So that it switches to Immolation and just hits me instead. Yeah, I just wish there was something. But I really don't think there's a good way out of this. That's why I think it might be more realistic to try and just get Orin back up to speed. So trouble is these guys don't have auto Phoenix because it's basically I made it for this first phase. I made it Orin's job to deal with it. They won't be able to bring Orin back either. So maybe I should have set up a second armor with Auto Phoenix on it. That's also a problem. Let me give them a second armor, because in this scenario, I think they can always swap back to this one. This can be the Obliteration. This can be like the general armor. And then we could have one that's just for Obliteration, potentially. So I think this is one where I will go into far plane, and I might make myself a second one, because I feel like this could benefit me in a situation like this. It's definitely many a smidge above it. It seems very much possible to me. No Sphere Grid is so stupidly like different tier. It's yeah. It would be like the difference between winning the smallest prize in the lotto versus the biggest. I think the difference between no Sphere Grid and own Sphere Grid. So hold up here. Let's do some good old cheating. Everyone, just look away from your screens for a second. Pretend you didn't see them. Let's do Auto Phoenix. Auto Protect. Only problem is I forgot how this worked. For now, we've got Protect as a result of like an item use. Then when you switch to Auto Protect and then you switch back off again, do you lose the Protect? A bit of a niche scenario, we'll have to see. You don't lose the Protect, that's good. So I have a feeling something like this, maybe? Like, I don't need the ribbon for Obliteration, I think. Obliteration didn't have any statuses, right? Did it? I'm so used to having, like, ribbon for this fight, but I think you can get away with Stoneproof for this fight as well, so it should be fine. So let's just try this version first. It does slow if Auto Haste covers it. Okay, that's good. So I think we need to kind of practice what happens if Orin gets taken out and just see if it's feasible to bring him back. Right. So now, 370,000. Wonder how much damage Slice and Dice does. Is it worth doing a Slice and Dice? Let's just take this arm out anyway, I think. Give ourselves a bit of time. So now what we need to do, we need to get Orin like ready. Is there any chance here to bring him back? Not bad. I think it's possible. Basically, I'm going to deliberately make sure that the other two tanks aren't out here. Also, I need to remember to switch back to God Hand when I'm ready to attack with Riku. It's a shame she doesn't have an overdrive. That would have been nice. Is there anything else we can do? Who has the Protect spell? I don't remember. Obviously with the whole randomizer thing, all of these abilities are just all over the place. Was it Walker as well? That's bad. The fact that he has both of them is not a good thing. You know what? Maybe there's a small chance to make it with that. Just trying to think. Oren will survive the obliteration here. Yeah, true. I think Farplane Editor would let you check statuses. It's true. Just thinking if it's worth a Blitz Ace and then a normal attack with Waka on this guy. Could we take him out? Let's have a look. Abilities. White Magic. Yeah, it is Waka, unfortunately. Hey Dan, welcome to the stream. Good to see you. So yeah, a little bit torn. I'm trying to think if there's a chance I could maybe take this arm out with Tidus and Waka, then it might be worth it. Yeah, it's not Protect that he needs, it's he needs 5 times Cheer. He needs an Overdrive, that's what he needs. Okay. Yeah, Cheer is Lulu, but he needs 5. And so I think it's quicker to try and get Riku to use an Overdrive for them instead of trying to get Lulu to Cheer 5 times, literally. So basically now we need RNG. We need to hope that the arm doesn't use an attack that takes out Oren. Right, let me just see what happens here. That's what I mean, like that arm is just a pain in the ass. Fine. Let's switch to this. At least Riku will get a full overdrive now. And one of the arms is gone, but obviously not ideal. Right, here we go again. It's just really trying to get that momentum going in the fight. I just can't at the moment. Oh my god. Nah, I'm getting destroyed here. Unfortunately. This is what I mean. You just get stuck in the front line. Yeah. That arm is just horrible, man. And it all happened because of that Calamity. The Calamity that hit Oren. It really lives up to its name. In this fight, it's horrible. So it does seem to me like if that scenario happens, it's very difficult to bring Oren back. And again, agility is part of the problem. He's just slow. And he doesn't have auto haste either. So we need to come up with something better. So I think we're going to have to throw this one as well. Ugh. I feel like we were really starting to get something going there, but then that Calamity just really set me back. It's a shame. I think you could go back to X potions and no trio. Possibly, yes. Yeah. I think that might be worth a look. I think obviously the trouble is trying to... We need a whole like extra set of overdrives. And well, realistically we need 2 sets of overdrives because we need trio on Oren Lulu and Yuna. So Riku would need two whole overdrives just to get trio on everybody. So we'll see if we can just make the X potions last. And I think since the primary goal in phase 2 is going to be to see if we can blast through with attack, like no one's going to be X potioning anyway. So it might be worth having a look. So what we'll do, we'll get rid of the trio. And we'll rely just on these. And we'll see if that can get us through. So, yeah. I think the setup that I had last time worked fairly well. Yes, I think for me I was trying my best to find a setup where they wouldn't need to defend before every single obliteration. And I think the defense plus 20 protect. Defense plus 20 protect, and the 5 times cheer gives them the ability to do that. So I think if I remove the defense plus 20, then I think they have to defend every time. And I think that's... I'm not sure I want to do that. So I think I want to try it again like this. I feel like Auto Potion, Ribbon, and Auto Haste are kind of essential here. You could ditch Auto Haste since it puts it up anyways. Yeah, I did one or two tests like that, but then I think you have calamity problems. I feel like now and then, like, something ends up hitting them that causes you to potentially dispel. I feel like losing Auto Haste, potential problem. So I think we'll go for it again like this, but we'll have a little bit less legwork to do to set things up in the beginning. So I think we can... Let's try it again. Yeah, Ribbon takes care of Sloga, thankfully. Hey all two, welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Alright, let's jump back in.
You're counting